So there's been a lot of discussion lately around the state of multiverses, and a lot of people are voicing their frustrations online. Some are innocent complaints, some of it's actual constructive criticism, and a lot of it is incredibly toxic. But at the end of the day, all of it boils down to the same thing. Simply put, multiverses is suffering. I'm sure those of you who are familiar with me and my work have noticed, I haven't uploaded anything other than shorts for a while. In fact, a lot of creators in the scene haven't really been making content. Some people haven't even been playing. So what gives? What can Player First do to change it, and what can we as the community do to help? If you ask anyone in the community what the biggest problems are, they'll mostly say the same thing. Bugs, the server/netcode issues, and there's a content drought. A lot of people talk about balancing as well, but realistically, people will always complain about balance, and no game will ever be perfectly balanced. I do have to agree. It's a pretty big problem that the game has as many issues as it does, just in regards to just being a functioning product. You can absolutely hop on and find a match right away pretty much any time of day, which is awesome. But from the difference in performance between machines running the game to desync gameplay between players who aren't even experiencing the exact same lag to character specific bugs that have been in the game for a long time, it's only understandable that people get upset. For some people, this game is everything they've ever dreamed of. And I want to be clear, that includes the developers. It's really special that we can even play a game that features some of our favorite pieces of media and culture, which in turn leads to people experiencing strong feelings and reaction. This is a project of love that just happens to be owned by an old school media giant and is being developed by a small indie team. All that being said, what can Player First do to ease some of the community's worries? And what are some ways they can approach the topic without getting people worked up for better or for worse? In my opinion, they're definitely taking steps in the right direction. They're hiring people in the community who not only understand the complexities of game design and balance, but are also people who want the game to succeed because of what it is, not for their own personal gain. The newest additions being the Cat as the community manager. He's the new face of the game. He's someone who's an incredible competitive player in other games. He's someone who is very passionate about the things that he puts his time into, as well as another new addition being one of the best Finn players on the planet, Chavo. They were hired on as a game analyst. For those of you who don't know, to put it simply, they're going to be a tester. They're going to be looking for bugs and glitches and things like that. That being said, there are some things I think that would not only soothe some of the community angst, but also give people a definitive reason to stick around other than just the gameplay loop and competition. First off, a roadmap of some sort. It could be 3 months long, it could be 6 months long, it could even say something like, these are the things that will be coming to the game by the end of 2023. Even something like that would suffice. For a lot of the community, the issues aren't even the biggest problem. It's the fact that they don't know what's coming next, when it's coming, or if it's worth it for them to even wait, if it'll even hold their interest. I'm not sure if this would involve any like red tape with WB, but at the very least, I think it would be appropriate to at least share like what the general plans are around certain seasons or upcoming changes or what we're moving towards in the next patches. We don't need a patch every couple weeks. We really don't even need a patch every month. We do need to know that when a patch comes, it's things that we want and it's things that are genuinely worth waiting for. Whether that's content, whether that's fixes, whether it's just announcing that there will be an announcement. Whatever it is, the community is always dying to know what's coming next. And with that being said, the next thing I think that would be helpful would be a tester branch or a beta branch for the game. Similar to Brawlhalla, Rust, and many other games, I think MultiVersus would benefit greatly from adding a branch of the game specifically to test the things that have more or less been in the bi-weekly patches up to now. Not only would it give some insight to the community at what's being actively looked at, but it would also give people who may be bored or frustrated with the game something to do besides just grind ladder or enter tournaments or play silly queue by themselves. Again, this is something WB may have some say over, they might push back on it, but nonetheless, I think this is something that would be a great addition to the game and the community. The other really big thing I think Multiversus could and should do is just simply address things when they happen and give a reason as to why. Doesn't have to be a good reason, just something that makes sense. Like for instance, where did Make It Rain Dog go? Why wasn't there a winter showdown like there was the fall showdown? I'm sure it's just like a budget thing, but if they said that, that would look pretty bad on the game. That might be bad for investors. But I'm sure there are a million official corporate sounding things that they could say that would be perfectly valid, suitable reasons for why stuff like that is on hold. But without that direct clarification, all we can do as a community is just speculate. All we can do is speculate. Aside from player first though, what can we, the community, do to help get the game back on its path to success? For one, I think the most obvious thing would be to be more helpful when you're talking about the issues. I see a lot of general whining, see a lot of people trash talking player first. I see people go out of their way to make dead game posts. We all know there are issues. We all know that there are issues. The devs are fully aware of the problems in the game, albeit maybe not all of them. They're aware. When we make complaints and talk about the issues that we have with the game, I think it's really important that not only are we really specific about what issues we're having are, but also provide our thoughts on maybe what could improve it. And more importantly, we should try to do that without being biased. Of course, we would all love our characters to be strong and fun to play as and fun to play against, but the kits that have been assigned to these characters were done so with a vision in mind. Some things are meant to be strong, some things are meant to be more niche. That being said, there are characters who have moves in their kit that are literally unused in competitive play. There are characters who are literally stronger if the player chooses to not be expressive and stick to bread and butter combo routes. But just saying this character's a problem, or this is broken, or this is useless, that's not really helpful. It doesn't really give valuable information to the team on what they can do to make it better for the game. Not just for the people playing specific characters, but for the game as a whole. Another huge thing the community could do is make more content. I know, coming from me, that's ironic, Mr. Upload and Vanish. But seriously, there is a severe lack of even just unedited tournament VODs for people who aren't as deep into the community as us to actually go out and watch. Ajax is doing great with his channel, putting his weekly tournaments up on his channel every week for people to go and watch. There are so many thousands of people who love this game, but there aren't any established creators in our scene yet that people can really rely on the same way that other scenes do. We have some amazing creators, some really incredible people in the community, but we still don't have our own Little Z to Smash Ultimate. We don't have our own Awesome Sauce to Melee. We don't have our own Wolfie to Pokemon. And let me be clear, I'm not knocking the creators in the scene. Like I said, we have some awesome people in the community making stuff. Lost Griff, B-Hands, Bugsv, just to name a few. We just don't have enough creators who are filling out their own niches in the community. And listen, to those of you who are making content or are planning to, I know it's hard. It's hard. That's why my channel's so dry lately. But the fact of the matter is, there are so many amazing players. There are so many genuine, funny, nice, talented people in the scene. We're really shooting ourselves in the foot by not pushing out more content, especially here on YouTube. Most of us stream, sure, but let's be real. Nobody's watching the VODs. Nobody's watching the VODs unless it's some tournament run or something, especially if it's not on YouTube. I know the modding scene instead, there are only so many game modes and it is really hard to be original. Trust me. But not everything has to be perfect or 100% original. Like, even on TV, every sitcom is just Seinfeld, right? I just want to encourage not only those of you who are listening right now, but myself as I'm recording this, as I'm going back, editing it, watching it over. This game needs us. Without players, there is no game. Without content, there's less people who care. There's less people who find the game, who could potentially fall in love with it. And I don't know about you guys, but I think it would be great if MultiVersus had 10x, 100x, 1,000 times the player base. You know, I want a future for MultiVersus because MultiVersus is special to me. You know, there isn't another game. There isn't another game where I can play as Finn the Human and smack LeBron James in the head. You know, there's not another game where Batman and Jake the Dog team up to take down Bugs Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil. You know what I mean? With all that being said, whether or not you agree with everything I said, or if you think I'm some dick-riding shit-eater, just always remember this, okay? This game is being made by people, not machines. And none of us are perfect. Help them help us. And subscribe.